Welcome back to Shifting to Solids. Today we're going to be talking about the linear pattern, but in the 3D version. So like always, let's get started with a sketch. So we'll do Shift S, we'll select that top plane, and we'll go N to normalize and P to hide those planes. So what we're going to do is get started with a little bit of geometry, just something that we can cut into and kind of show. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with a rectangle. Shortcut key will be R. We'll click my origin, come out, and we'll just make this like 10 by 5. Some simple, easy math. So we got 10 inches by 5 inches. Next, we're going to switch to our extrude by pressing Shift and E. We'll rotate that a little bit so you can see it. And I want this to go up. Let's make it 10 by 5 by 5. So it'll be 5 inches thick. So it'll be a pretty big little rectangular prism. Next, what I want to do is I want to click this front face. We'll start another sketch, N to normalize. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a couple of things. We'll draw a circle here, make that 0.5. We'll dimension that 0.75 from the end. And what I'm going to do now is extrude that just like we did before, but I'm going to extrude that as a remove feature. And instead of clicking just random, I'm going to make it go up to face, and I'm going to click this face. So now I have this slot cut in the top of my prism. Say okay, and we'll see now that if we follow me over to my feature tree, I have a sketch, extrude to make the prism, a sketch to draw that cutout, and extrude, second extrude to cut out that second part of that prism, cut out that circle, little valley deal, little channel. So the whole reason you're here is for linear pattern. So what I want to show you now is if we click that linear pattern tool, you follow me up here to the top. Linear pattern, it lives next to the external thread that we talked about last week. We'll click linear pattern, and it says create, add to, subtract from, or intersect multiple instances of a part, faces, or features. Specify the direction, distance, and number of instances. Optionally, specify instances to skip. So this is kind of cool. So we'll go ahead and click that, and you'll see entities to pattern. Well, I have this whole drop down here. So I'm going to see I have part pattern, feature pattern, and face pattern. Okay. If I click part pattern and I click my part, I can say a direction, and what it's going to ask me for is a direction. So I usually like picking a side, like a line like this. An instance count, I can tell it 5 pieces, and you'll see it's copied that thing now. But distance, we said our piece was 10 inches, so we at least got to make a gap of 11. And that'll put a 1-inch gap in between all my pieces. So you'll see now I have copied blocks. Maybe I need these to sync together, or you'll see direction. Maybe I want them to go that way, right? And I can change my spacing to a 1-inch spacing. They're going to overlap, so we need to make it at least 6 because our piece was 5. I can go centered, and it'll do 5 in each direction. I can do a second direction and also go out let's make this 11. So I can set up a grid fairly quickly, and you'll see that it starts to create some linear patterns for us. And that's just by doing the part. I can also do skip instances. So maybe I don't want that one or that one for whatever reason. Maybe there's some sort of special geometry, or maybe you're building something in like a building. Maybe these are little tables or maybe you're packing something in a box, and maybe this is where the supports so the box doesn't get crushed needs to go or something. I don't know, kind of making stuff up on the fly. But you can see that I can go through and make a pattern, and it knows which instances to skip. So that all happens under the part pattern, okay? Also, we could do this with add, remove, and intersect, just like we can with any other 3D tool. But new instance is kind of what this is lending itself to. So I'm going to click escape and we'll do another one. So we'll do linear pattern. This time I want to do a feature pattern. So instead of copying, let's get back in here. Instead of copying that whole part, this time I want to copy a feature. So this is kind of cool. My feature I want to copy will come over here. I want to copy this extrude to. So you'll see now that I click that, it goes there. And if we look over here, you'll see it was highlighting that piece. But now our direction, let's go here. Just pop down to direction really quick. There we go. Let's zoom in and I want to click this as my direction. Well, you'll see, let's flop that direction. And I want a spacing of 5 inches, maybe. Or, you know what, I think I liked 1, but let's do an instance count of 5. I can start adding grooves along this without having to draw every single one. Maybe you're 3D printing something and it's a grip or something, and you did it with 5 and you're like, you know what, I think it'd be better with maybe like 7. Cool, maybe 10. And you'll see that if I have too many, it's going to tell me, hey, that ain't going to work. Your math is off. It's going to hit the end. So maybe we'll do 9. Okay. That looks pretty good. I could change my math a little bit and make this work, but I can pattern that in a way to where I only have to draw that channel once, right? But let's say, you know what, maybe I wanted all these to be rounded and I wanted fillets on all of these. Well, using this rollback bar, I could go before I did my pattern, go back and add a fillet. Go real quick here. Let's round all these corners. We'll round all that stuff like so. So I fixed that initial instance. So then if I bring I pattern that, you'll see it doesn't like it, right? So if I go here, the problem is it's extruding, but we need to also add that fillet. And then if it doesn't like it still, we have to add reapply features. And you'll see now it's given us what we want. So some issues you might run into if you're running into that and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Why is it turning red? Usually it's because of that reapply features. Or you might have to change the geometry maybe 1.1 because things are overlapping a little bit. Yeah. So we'll change that to 8. So there's a bunch of different ways you can fix it, but usually reapply features is going to be the one that's going to fix that for you. So that's going to do it for us with linear pattern. If you take a look under the family, we have linear pattern. We'll be doing circular pattern next week. And then the week after that, we will do curve pattern. So they are pretty similar, but the way they work is a little different than what you would do in the 2D version. So I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that. Again, you could do your part pattern, your feature pattern, and then with face pattern, I could click this face and then pattern that face, which I don't really use all that often. That's why I don't really show it. I haven't found a reason to use this. Everything I've been able to do with part and feature pattern. So we'll leave that as feature. We'll go 1.1 like we had it. And we'll leave that there. So like I said, that's how you use that pattern. Tune in next week and we will be talking about the circular pattern. So thank you guys for watching these videos. Keep on drawing. I know you guys are doing good, so keep at it. Leave any comments below, and thank you guys for watching.